Hey, you got plans coming up? And get one of my large Godfather's pizzas for the price of a medium.
You know how they say there's a pizza for every mood? Well, that's probably true for the United States. Here, pizza is a realm where dough meets dreams and where sauce swirls with imagination. Hey everyone, welcome back to Culinary Curiosities. In this video, we're diving right into the cheesy, saucy, and oh so satisfying world of pizzas. But hold on to your taste buds, because we're not just talking about your average pepperoni and cheese here. Oh no, we're about to uncover a world of mind-blowing, jaw-dropping pizza creations that will make you want to grab a slice right through your screen. It's time to forget everything you thought you knew about this classic Italian dish, because we're about to take you on a pizza palooza like no other. So whether you're a deep dish devotee from the Windy City or a thin crust connoisseur from the Big Apple, this video is your all-access pass to the wildest, tastiest, and most finger-licking pizzas across the USA. Buckle up, because this is going to be one delicious adventure. First up, let's start with the basics, and you know what that means? It's the classic Neapolitan pizza. This is basically where all American pizza starts. Even though the traditional Neapolitan-style pizza was imported from Naples, Italy, us Americans have now put our own saucy little touch to it. The story of this mouth-watering deliciousness begins with a dough that's made with ultra-fine flour and is allowed to ferment anywhere between a few hours to several days. After that, it's rolled to perfection and topped generously with fresh tomatoes, herbs, and imported cheeses. You can thank the Italians for that. Finally, this pizza is pushed into an oven blasting at 900 degrees Fahrenheit for just a minute or two. The end result is what every American is addicted to: a slightly charred soft crust with beautiful little airy pockets that give us that delightful crunch on the first bite. Is it just us, or is your stomach growling too? Next up, we've got the New York style pizza. Pizza and New York go together like unicorns and glitter, because biting into one of these pizzas is just magical. New York style pizza is the large, thin-crusted brother of our classic Neapolitan pizza. This dish actually began with the opening of America's very first pizzeria called Lombardi's, where the owner served some unusually large and wide pizza pies. Now, what we truly love about the New York style pizza is how huge, wide, and crispy it is. And hey, believe it or not, but some people even claim that the unique texture of the crust actually comes from the minerals that are only found in New York City's tap water. In fact, if you're not from New York, then you might just end up with a huge grease stain on your shirt while you're trying to eat a slice. If you want to act like a true New Yorker, make sure you fold up your pizza and eat it with one hand. From the $1 slices you can grab from just about any corner of the city to more sophisticated offerings in sit-down restaurants, this deliciousness is always light on the sauce and heavy on the cheese. Even though toppings vary by choice and location, you'll almost find your taste buds tingling on that heavily seasoned tomato sauce. Moving on, let's talk about grilled pizza. This nice and toasty pizza starts with a stretched out dough that's slapped right onto some hot coals. Once the first side is done, we break some rules and add the toppings in reverse. That's right, the cheese goes on first, followed by a generous drizzle of sauce, then it goes back onto the grates, sizzling and mingling until the other side cooks up and the cheese melts into gooey perfection. And voila! What rises from that grill is a straight-up masterpiece, a crispy, airy, charred delight that's kissed by that smoky goodness. It's like the flavor fairies decided to throw a party in your mouth. Now, here's the best part. You can let your imagination run wild when it comes to toppings. Want to pile on the classics like pepperoni and mushrooms? Go for it. Feeling a little adventurous and want to throw some pineapple on there? No judgment here. Well, maybe a little. Grilled pizza is your canvas and your taste buds are the artists. If you're into some really wacky food combos, then you gotta try this California-style pizza. California-style pizza takes the best of New York and Italian thin crust and sprinkles it with a touch of magic. The crust is pure perfection, light, airy, and oh so tender. Get ready for shrimp and asparagus stealing the spotlight. smoked salmon making a splash, and other seafood delights that'll take you straight to the coast. But that's not all, folks. We're breaking all the rules with toppings like chicken, peanut sauce, barbecue sauce, tangy goat cheese, and even sweet and juicy pineapples. California-style pizza is all about pushing boundaries and creating flavor fireworks. So if you're craving a pizza adventure that's as unique as the Golden State itself, grab a slice of California-style goodness. Here's a little tip from our side. Grab a frosty beer or a glass of crisp white wine with your pizza. Trust me, you'll thank us later. Next up, we've got another unique piece of pie for you guys, the Greek-style pizza. Greek pizza came with the Greek immigrants in Boston in the late 1960s. This unique pie is known for its thick, wettish dough. But hey, don't be so quick to judge, it's actually pretty good. Topped with some greasy cheese and tomato sauce that's laced with oregano, this Greek pizza is actually baked in an even greasier pan. And the result? A lacy, crisp edge with a fried bottom crust that's sure to leave you wanting more. Now, if you want to pay homage to this pie's origins, then you better load it up with artichokes, feta cheese, and Kalamata olives. But if that's not your vibe, then some good old pepperoni works too. Whatever you do, just make sure you eat this pizza while it's still hot. You don't want to know what happens when you reheat all that grease. After that, how could we forget about our beloved Grandma Pizza? Known for the iconic rectangular shape, Grandma Pizza has a 1-inch crust, pillow interior, and a crunchy base. And if we're being honest, then the Grandma Pizza is basically a thinner, crunchier version of the Sicilian. The toppings on this pie are pretty minimal, but one thing stays the same. You always put the tomato sauce on top of the mozzarella to hold it all together. It's called Grandma Pizza because our grannies started making these pies at home. But if you're looking for some authentic Sicilian-style pizza, then you can go down to some Italian-American communities in Michigan, New York, or Rhode Island. You'll definitely get your hands on the real deal there. Now let's talk about some stuffed pizza. No, this isn't the deep dish pizza. Stuffed pizza is actually an American pie that has a thin, crowning layer of pizza dough that just seals all the other ingredients inside. It's kind of like a pot pie, but with some rich tomato sauce, vegetables, and Parmesan on top. Interestingly, you'll always find this pizza with a solid and smooth crust. Even though it's filled to the brim on the inside, the dough is still a little dry and sweet. Better take cover for the Vesuvio pizza. This one looks kind of like a volcano, and it's basically the Neapolitan version of a stuffed pizza. Yep, we know what you're thinking. How many pizza babies do we have? Well, this Neapolitan stuffed pizza baby has 2 crusts on top of each other, and the inside is filled with delicious ingredients like mozzarella, tomatoes, and mushrooms. And if you really want to enjoy the Vesuvio pizza experience, then make sure you ask the waiter to bring the hot pizza directly to your table. This way, you can watch the steam from the joined dough escape right in front of you, just like a volcanic eruption. Next up, we've got the Detroit style. What if we gave a Sicilian-style pizza a makeover and some blue steel pans that were actually meant for the auto industry? Well, that's the magic of Detroit-style pizza. Those square pans are the real deal, acting like cast iron skillets and creating a crunch-tastic crust that'll have you hooked from the first bite. But hold on, we're just getting started. The real game changer here is the cheese. Bakers intentionally pile on the mozzarella and brick cheese, pushing it all the way up to the sides of the pan. But why? Oh, because it creates an epic caramelization that'll make you weak in the knees. It's a crispy, cheesy, flavor-packed adventure that'll have you shouting, "Motor City, here I come!" It's time for some Chicago-style pizza. Nope, this isn't the deep dish either. Just hold your horses for that one. The authentic Chicago-style pizza has a crispy, cracker-thin crust. It's topped with some super delicious zesty tomato sauce and generous amounts of shredded mozzarella. And as for the toppings, you can add anything from pepperoni and Italian sausage to bacon and vegetables. That's right, you can go as crazy as you want with it. There's no denying that this pizza is the #1 choice among locals, and you'll almost always find it cut into squares, or as they like to call it, the box cut or party cut. Unlike the New York style pizza, this one doesn't fold up. In the wise words of Chicagoans, fold your laundry, not your pizza. And finally, here's the pie you've been waiting for, the Chicago deep dish. Not only is this gorgeous pizza popular in Chicago, but it's a pretty big deal all over the world. In fact, there's even a National Deep Dish Pizza Day celebrated every year on April 5th. Pretty cool, right? But what's all the fuss about? First things first, we gotta talk about that crust. Chicago deep dish is all about that thick, buttery crust that's like a warm, comforting hug. It's sturdy enough to hold all the glorious toppings, yet soft enough to melt in your mouth. Now, let's move on to the star of the show, the toppings. We're talking about a layer of zesty tomato sauce that's bursting with flavor, topped with generous amounts of gooey mozzarella cheese that stretches for miles. And that's just the beginning. Chicagoans like to go big, so you'll find a bunch of toppings like savory Italian sausage, hearty chunks of pepperoni, fresh vegetables, and maybe even a sprinkle of Parmesan for that extra touch of cheesy perfection. Now, this is a pizza that really takes its time. It's not your quick and easy slice. Instead, it's a real masterpiece that's slowly baked to perfection. So, just make sure you order ahead of time. Trust me, once you've experienced that thick, cheesy, flavor-packed delight, you'll understand why Chicago proudly wears the crown of deep dish pizza royalty. Now, there's just one question left to answer. Which pizza is the best of all? Is it New York style or the iconic deep dish? We'll leave that for you guys to decide in the comment section below.